Hi there. This is Pastor Dave Bryan, Senior Pastor of the Church of Glad Tidings in Yuba City, California, and the Embassy of Heaven. And I've got my friend James Grundvig here. I want to say again, if you haven't um, looked at his movie, he's got a great movie, and it's about the destruction of Babylon. What's the title again? It's
Splintering Babylon.
Splintering. That's always the word I usually say something.
CIA, well, Splintering Babylon. It's
There
based
you go. That's
Daniel 235.
Yeah, Splintering Babylon. Anyway, it's a great movie. He's done really good research on it. Every American needs to look at it and share it with your friends. So you can see that there at the bottom of the screen there, and click on that. You can see it for free, and it's a really great movie. Share it with your friends. But anyway, we're about to um, dive into this exciting potential venue of things that are about to break. Now, I just recently was talking to uh, Ivan Raiklan, and he was so excited. Ivan's a pretty excitable guy. He's been collecting, the naughty list for years now, and he has over 1,400 names of people that he says, because he's a lieutenant colonel, Green Beret, retired, but then he did 5 years of law, and he's a prosecuting attorney. So, boy, he is a serious dose of
very passionate.
Oh man, yeah. You don't want
truth and justice.
You don't want the Secretary of Retribution on your trail, but he's a great guy. I love Ivan, and he was just so excited about what's about to happen. But let's talk about some of the things that they popped their head up. They looked like they had huge potential. Then suddenly they just quietly went away. Nobody was arrested. Nothing happened. And it really brought a widespread disillusionment in some that thought that's the way it will always be. But I know you agree with this, James, but I just want to say to our listeners, please remember that Donald Trump is not fighting against the Democratic Party. Donald Trump is fighting against the global cabal. They're Luciferian. It goes back to the Garden of Eden and the wicked one's desire to control mankind. It goes back to Satan telling Jesus, I have the kingdoms of the world in my hand. I'll give them to you if you'll just worship me. So, again, I've never met Donald Trump. I've come pretty close and think I will someday. But I just want to say this: don't expect him to be perfect. He's a man like the rest of us. But thank God for all that he has done for our country. And remember, uh, it's not as easy as it looks. It never is as easy as it looks. Just last week, I visited a whistleblower, Tina Peters, one of the most wonderful, virtuous women I've ever met. She's been in prison for nearly a year, and she's the poster girl for being persecuted for righteousness' sake. She's in prison because the government of the state of Colorado is corrupt. And so she blew the whistle on voting corruption.
She exposed the corruption, and now the person that was supposed to do her job has actually got caught red-handed. So basically, they cooked the election fraud.
Exactly.
So only a matter of time before the military comes into Colorado and makes some arrests.
Come on.
So your court system in Colorado, your governor in Colorado, all of them are fully exposed.
All corrupt. And so then, of course,
exposed, and it's only a matter of time they're taken down. And Donald Trump has asked the governor and has dropped some posts and related to Tina Peters that they should do the right thing and let her go. But that's
right.
Not happen.
That's not going to happen.
There's going to be some retribution coming.
Come on. And we're all looking forward to that. But for those that, like, for instance, the people that would say, well, why didn't the president just write an executive order? I just want to say this, just talking to some of the people most involved in that case, as James has said, it's about Tina Peters, but it's much bigger than Tina Peters because it's about the massive corruption in the state.
He
And
got
Tina
arrested for
Peters,
doing her job.
right? And Tina Peters has become the linchpin that is going to set a lot of things in motion. So it seems like a really easy thing, get her out, and yet it's connected here and connected here and connected here. And they're planning a big sweep that'll bring the whole machine down. And it's really no different, James, than when you know of a little two-bit drug dealer and you're calling the police trying to get him arrested, and they're saying, hey, cool your jets. We know about him. Well, your kid's buying drugs from him, and you just want that guy off the corner. But they're trying to take down the Mexican mafia. And so, they have to work all the angles. There's a lot of that going on.
You talked about cartels. Let's bring a big dot in there. Venezuela, the biggest mafia cartel on the planet. Drugs, gun running, everything. Trying to subvert the United States for a long time. So where are some Trump sent down a small military Navy fleet that is right off the coast of Venezuela right now. They want to arrest Maduro. They got a $50 million bounty on his head. And where were the Dominion machines made? Oh, in Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Oh, so this is more than Maduro suddenly. It's more than taking down the Venezuelan gangs and cartels and terrorists.
Right.
It could lead into not only the Dominion voting machines in the United States and Canada, but wherever they were used worldwide. So this is suddenly a big deal. In fact, they're there, and then you're lining up Russiagate, and then in another swim lane, we got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right, taking full control of CDC finally, right? And he's done less than half a year. I mean, things are looking very interesting.
Yeah, right. And I just wanted to put in that pitch for a restraint based on the fact that people are working very hard, but it's this big, it's not this big.
Correct.
It always looks this big to the uninitiated, but it's this big. But some of the things that are lurking, I mean, think about the Anthony Weiner laptop and all the information on Huma Abedin and all that, and the satanic sex rituals of Hillary Clinton that are on film.
Ritual sacrifices that are horrific.
Right. And that hasn't been washed away. That has been carefully held for the right moment to bring down the whole house of cards. And it's coming up very quickly. James, you run through some of the things that are happening in September and October.
Well, the biggest one that's public right now is the Russiagate. And people are like, well, Russiagate's not, I mean, even I said it, Russiagate's not killing anybody today, right? I mean, all the harm's been done already. And then I started thinking for myself, I'm realizing for the awakened people, I'm like, oh, this has got to be done for the 50% or 70% of the population that's still asleep.
Yeah.
That has no idea, right? It's really meant for them. And so Epstein Island, Trump pushed Epstein Island away for now because it's probably going to be tied into the truth event or cascade of events that comes after Russiagate. So Russiagate, we're kind of locked in. And because Russiagate has got a schedule, the whole world knows the schedule, including the CIA, including the Luciferians. What did we see yesterday? We saw what? Oh, we saw a transgender false flag, an MK Ultra kid, most likely, that lost his mind, realized he's not a female, right? He's a male, and he flipped out. Well, this is the beginning of what I call false flag season. You're going to have dangerous events perpetrated by the global criminals, the cabal, over the next 2 months, trying to drown out the testimony of Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton says some truth bomb. They want to have an event that day or day before, or day after, to try to take all of the oxygen out of mainstream media, and so that will not be able to actually listen to what Hillary or Bill Clinton has to admit under oath.
Yeah. The other thing, James, is though Russiagate. Everybody's tired of hearing of it. But you know what hasn't happened yet is the people held accountable for treason that were
Correct.
involved in it. And that is one heck of a network. Those are the power brokers of the left that have yet to be held accountable. And don't you think it will probably go into military tribunals?
Oh, I absolutely do.
Yeah,
And
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 and if,
so
and if everything happens, then think about tribunals coming in. The visible part tribunals coming in next year, right? Like next late winter, early spring, right? This will all be before the Fourth of July celebration.
right, right,
So if the goal is to have a greatest celebration of all time, then you have to shock awake. That event's got to take place this fall, and then
exactly,
you got to get people pointed in a brand new direction, give them hope, right? You're not financially
right,
broke. You might be financially broke for a couple of weeks, but you're not broke because there's a whole new financial system in place. And
right.
the Republic of the United States has got trillions of dollars in assets, not liabilities. All of the 37 million trillion dollars that you see is as debt that belongs to the Federal Reserve, which is a private foreign bank. Doesn't belong to the United States Republic.
Right, right. And let me just say this: James mentioned the Fourth of July. We've lived through a lot of Fourth of Julys. We've never lived through one like this. It's America's 250th year, and if you read, like, for instance, Jim Black's book on why nations die, uh, you'll find that the great civilizations of all world history have lived between and lasted between 200 and 250 years. And
Correct.
so the whole idea of the biggest and best ever of a 250th year anniversary is having beat the grim reaper, so to speak, of nations, and having turned things around and gone back to our roots, which nations seldom do. And so, of course, I'm praying for that. I'm a man of faith. I believe in God, which means I believe in redemption. I believe in miracles. I believe in good coming out of what the enemy meant for evil. But how awesome would it be to have a revival of faith? You know, people talk about revivals of religion, but religion has not served us well. I'm talking about a
That's
revival.
man-made. Let's talk about faith. I agree with you.
Exactly. So what we need is a renewal of our faith in a good God, and the ways of a good God. And of course, those are ill represented by religion, almost exclusively.
Yep.
But wouldn't it be great if we turned back to the God in whose image and likeness we are made, and embraced righteousness and truth and mercy and justice, and all the virtues that any workable society has built into them. That's why societies work, is they're built on the principles of God. But that's what I'm hoping for, James, is something that touches the conscience of the nation. Well, we have generations that are completely lost. Not only do they not know they're made in the image and likeness of God, they're not even sure if they're the image and likeness of a male or female. They're
Correct.
that confused. Uh, and some
They're very confused,
uh,
unfortunately.
and some of them aren't even sure they're human. They think they might be a cat or something. But that's that's the kind of thing that uh, a couple of decades ago would be thought of as a joke. But we have people that are college age, and they are in uh, such deep deception that they are um, categorically insane. They
They're
don't
they're
think straight.
they're way off the beaten path.
Right, right.
Off.
So, but anyway,
Problematic.
wouldn't it be great if people turned back to God, and they begin to demand
Well, this is
that?
where we're going back, and the first thing we have to do, Pastor Dave, is Daniel 235. Well, what was Daniel 235 in the movie Splintering Babylon? It
Yeah,
is it is God's rock,
yeah, Come
God's
on.
rock being sent down by God,
Right.
destroying the feet of the five kingdoms of Babylon, and
I
the
love that, brother.
last one's the New World Order.
Yep.
And that after it's shattered, right, the whole statue collapses, and there won't be
Yep.
a trace left when it's all over. And then
Right.
the mountain will rise. So what's that? So God's rock is God's law. It is a metaphor
Right.
for the law. People focus on
Right.
the statue, I focus on the rock. What's the mountain? The mountain is what? The new temple, third temple that's within us, right? We're connecting with God and through God's laws.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole new perspective. And I think one of the subtle things that President Trump did this year was the military parade. Well, we've seen Russia parades and Chinese military parades in the past, and they have these big weapons coming down the street and this and all that. Didn't have any of the missiles, the nuclear bombs, none of that stuff. They had
Yeah.
green tanks in green, and then he swore in a group of 6,600 plus, what they call the Grand Militia Army, which was, I guess, the original army before the United States became a nation 250 years ago.
Mm.
This is the Republic Army. And
Yeah.
what happened was DC, District of Columbia, has now been dissolved. It is gone. You'll still hear Trump mention DC, but the reality is it's over. It is not on Google Maps anymore. It's just the city of Washington. It's not in airport terminals. It's Washington, right? It is the District of Columbia was a maritime port put in by the Cabal of 1871.
Yeah.
It, it has been dissolved. It's no longer there. And what's there is Trump swore in what? The Grand Militia Army of the United States, the Grand Army of the United States. They are in charge of Washington now. The Capitol Police are now subservient to them. They run all of Washington. And so that's a hint telling us what's coming. Well, now we know we have National Guard, deputized National Guard in at least 19 states or more. You have Marines in LA, Marines in New York City already, been stationed for a couple of months. And I guess they're anticipating false flags. They're anticipating, George Soros funded riots, kind of thing like
Right.
BLM, right? And
Right.
then when the truth comes out, though, they might be anticipating normal people rioting as well, and they will have to take control of the cities.
Right.
So if it's martial law or insurrection act, it's temporary. It's not permanently. They're going to come in and take control of the cities. And
Yeah.
the law of war manual, which 107 talks about a lot.
Yeah.
Articles 11.3 and 11.4 about belligerent occupiers. But once the cities, the government, the local governments or states can't control, the population where crime is out of control, the military has a legal right to step in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the military is the closest thing you will get to God's law on a
Yeah.
grand scale.
Right. Don't you think that some of the unrest will undoubtedly be the good old boys that are tired of Antifa throwing bricks through their windows and all that kind of stuff, and then they start responding in kind, and just it'll be little bouts of civil war between conservatives and really they're worse than liberals, but they're anti-American liberals.
But you have
And
right. You have the native populations, the locals in Ireland, right? England, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, the people, the locals are fighting back against the flood, the tsunami of illegal invaders. That
right,
were
many of which are radical Muslim.
they're people now realizing it's us or them, and so they're starting to fight back.
Yeah,
Again, not
yeah,
condone anything, but this is what when you face that, people will eventually say, "I got nothing to lose. I will defend myself."
right,
Right.
exactly.
So you're going to see a massive change, not only United States but Western Europe coming in a few months.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that. I believe that. Well, let's talk about some of the things that will ignite that tension. You mentioned the whole Russia hoax, but again, what we're looking forward is not just bringing it up again, but bringing justice to the traitors that perpetrated that. That's being talked about more and more and looked at more and more. We have a resolve for January 6th, a huge miscarriage of justice
Correct.
that have has a spider web throughout much of America, where people had friends and loved ones and family that were they were grossly sinned against in that miscarriage of justice. And then we have, you mentioned P Diddy, I but Epstein and P Diddy, like many of the other things we talked about, Anthony Weiner's laptop, they just came up on the screen for the shock impact, and then they seem to go away, but they didn't go away. Those tentacles go deep and wide, and I think there will be a revisiting of not only that, but of Pizzagate and all that they found out in Pizzagate, and I think it will. All this will be catalytic to the greatest disillusionment that will give rise to a moral awakening in American history.
I am with you all the way on that. So the truth event is going to be a cascade, like dominoes. You got to start with one event after Russiagate. What is the one pill which can multiply? What's the one pill that people, the normies or the people asleep, can handle? Election theft. Not only election
Yeah,
theft in 2020, but probably a lifetime of elections stolen in the United States, with the cabal inserting puppets. Now
right.
imagine if you multiply that with other nations joining in at the same time with President Trump,
Yes,
right? That
yes,
would be the one truth pill. They can't start with adrenochrome. They have to go to that
right. Exactly,
downstream, right? You
exactly.
can't start with Epstein either, because what happened to
Right,
Epstein? So they're going to start with something, a red pill you could swallow without drinking water. Literally,
right.
that's my
Yeah,
belief, right? They can, it's
right,
palatable. They
right.
understand this, but you're going to get this is going to open up everything, and you're going to get so much more. It's going to open up the dam of truth. All the dudes
Right.
come flooding through, and however they release it, you expect more and more truth. And when the people are ready for it, they'll
Exactly.
give them Epstein and Diddy, and eventually
Right.
the satanic ritual of children, right? The which all ties
Right.
into the abortion.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of it. They're going to get all of this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not up front, right? They're going to get it spaced out.
Yeah.
And this will be part of them really being shocked to the core, realizing, oh my God, I've been in this criminal enterprise forever. And then you got to start with a healing process, a grieving process after that. And
Yeah.
then you got to point them in a new direction,
Yeah.
new
So
financial
you're
direction, new economy, less government, all the criminals, and then the tribunals come next spring, and then you're marching forward. So it's
right.
going to happen to something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack. I do agree with you that the the easiest slam dunk probably is voting fraud, like you
Yep.
said, especially when other nations say, "Yeah, that happened to us," and it's not just a Donald Trump thing, but I do think that's like the snowball that you pack together and roll down the hill, but. I think it'll gain momentum in a hurry as it moves down the mountain.
Once the people realize their governments are their enemy, the bank run happens instantaneously.
Yeah, yeah,
They could, the people taking all their money out could actually bankrupt Wall Street. They'll stop
yeah,
investing. Everything will stop.
yeah, yeah,
Money freezes. That's the end. That the entire financial system, the global debt system, is based on liquidity, a money flowing. The minute it freezes, it's game over.
yeah. And so, with that collapse, you think it'll all be together? Like there's money, financial
I
collapse,
think it makes
and
sense, because then President Trump says, "Hey, I didn't take the Fed down. The people did."
yeah,
Right. So
but
he won't be he can't be blamed for doing anything because he won't be doing anything other than pushing the truth out
Yeah, yeah,
on something separate from the banking system. But it'll be
yeah,
the bank system will be tied into whatever comes out.
yeah. So then that would be the time for no Fed, no IRS, no
The
inflated.
whole pharma will collapse to all of it will collapse basically in a very short period of time. You talk about big education, everything. When people
Yeah,
actually wake up and say, "What the hell?" Right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
big sports will become little sports because people will realize, you know what? Being entertained by a
Yeah,
bunch of pedophiles is not doesn't interest us anymore.
exactly. I believe that's going to happen. I believe
I
people.
do. So all those big
Yeah,
contracts that players, celebrities have, that you're going to see that's going to be a thing of the past pretty quickly when this all comes to fruition, because all the entire global financial system will come down. And
yeah,
like when it went to low tide in 2008 with Bernie Madoff, we who's Bernie Madoff? Who is this guy?
yeah. Right,
He had the
right.
biggest Ponzi scheme in the world.
Yeah,
Oh, right. And so it's going to expose at low tide, everyone's going to be naked, right? All of the corrupt people will be naked. They'll be caught.
right,
There'll be no way
right.
out. They'll be all
Yeah,
exposed. That's
yeah.
coming.
You know where I think we are, James? I'm sure, have seen the movie The Patriot, Mel Gibson, The
Oh,
Patriot.
great movie. Yep.
Great movie. But remember when he was suffering abuses and everybody was holding their breath and waiting for him to throw down and get radical and where we're at right now when and he's kneeling over that chest and looking at his old weapons, right? And thinking, this being passive isn't working out for me. And I feel like there's millions of Americans that are right there. You know, they're looking in their old war chest and thinking, I would have liked to just live happily ever after, but they're not going to let us do that. And so it's time to show up in the showdown and throw down. And I think will impact every every system that we've become accustomed to. The religious system, by the way, there's some huge waves moving through that. Thank God. I feel like the COVID con really helped purge the religious system in
It
America.
exposed everything. 98 or
Yep,
99% of the
yep,
churches closing down to
yep.
protect their money changing
Right,
tax status.
right. And then we have the star of the series, The Chosen, who plays Christ. I've
Yep.
forgotten his name right now, but he had a interview that was televised with Joel Osteen, which is the poster boy for what I call the Great American Religious Enterprise. It's just a plastic dog and pony show in the name of God.
Mega
But
church is right in the yeah, and he doesn't know the Bible either. I mean,
well, that interview is just going viral because it was such a clash between the way of Christ and this bastardized uh, religious Ponzi scheme,
yep.
right? To see how much money you can get out of unwitting people by promising them if they pay sacrificially so that you can have another big jet, that God will do them a favor. That is as ugly as it gets, bro.
I
But
agree.
but all these things are kind of coming to a head and about to erupt. And so I think we'll see a radical shakedown in faith. I don't even like religion because religion crucified Christ, but that whole area and I think we'll see a radical shakedown in education where people think, we got ripped off. Right now, people should be thinking that people that have paid thousands of dollars, worked their fingers to the bone, sending their kids to colleges that teach their kids to hate them and the country that they live in, right? And the
Yep.
God that they love. I mean, there is massive, massive disillusionment. Then look what's happening to the medical structures when people are finding out they they basically don't give a damn if we live or die. It's all about making money on our sickness. And of course, I think more and more people are waking up to the fact that that modern medicine can cure any disease. They would be doing it except for one important reason. They don't want you alive. They don't mind making a lot of money
Correct.
off your sorrowful death, but they sure as heck don't want you alive. And there's a waking up to that, and politics, and what's happening in the name of the environment. We People have been lied to. That's because the earth is under the influence of the wicked one, and he is the father of lies. So every area,
Grand deception.
grand deception in every area. It's not like an isolated area.
Everything's a lie.
Yep. Yep.
And prayer, people say prayer is not good for you. Well, they already proven that if you pray to your water, your voice, in a real genuine prayer, your heart goes to the water. Water is living
Yeah,
memory.
it is. It's a lot.
Japan has proved it time and again.
Fascinating
Thank
studies.
you for nutrition. Thank you for your substance,
Yep.
whatever, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
very healthy for you.
Yeah.
Good frequencies. We live in a Tesla universe, not an Einstein universe.
Right.
We live in frequencies, vibrations.
Right. Right. And good vibration. Remember the 70s song?
Yeah.
We're picking up good
And that's why do
vibration.
you think they want us 6 feet apart during COVID 2020? Oh,
Yeah.
because our hearts can feel a good person or a bad person within 6 feet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You walk into a restaurant or bar or wherever, and you could feel a bad vibe right away, and
Right.
and you could
Right.
feel a good person as well.
Absolutely can. Yeah. Because we're spiritual beings.
We
And
are.
and everything comes down to our the vibrations uh, that produce either good or evil vibes. That's why they're called vibes. They're good or evil vibes, and it affects things for good or for evil. And so, yeah, those Japanese studies about cursing the water and it gets ugly and
It's
distorted,
still ugly.
and
It
or
looks
blessing.
demonic.
I know it because it is. And on the other hand, same water, same room, same person's voice, but if they bless it, it gets more and more beautiful. So what's happening is the population of the earth is beginning to wake up to the fact that they were created to live in the same frequency of the divine, and there's an evil plot that's militating against us. God's going to help us break it, don't you think?
Oh, God's definitely going to help us break it. So that's why there's one passage in the Bible that talks about God saying, "Be slow to anger."
Yeah.
Do not,
Yeah.
be very patient. And me having
Right.
as a father of an autistic 24-year-old son, I've learned patience through my son, right? Be very
Yeah.
slow to anger because I have to be his father. I have to be his best friend. I have to be his older brother. Right? I wear many hats with my son, developing a very important bond. But it doesn't help if the father gets angry. It doesn't.
Right. Right.
He
But
feels he's very sensitive to frequencies.
yes. And so, James, just since you brought it up, how has that difficulty impacted your soul?
It's maybe a better human being, better Christian, better understanding of God. So it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
I would say the best decision I ever made in my life is a very simple one. I could have spent the last 25 years of his life weekends. I could have gone out and played golf with my friends, just as
Yeah.
an example, right? Or play
Right.
tennis, or go play poker, or whatever
Right.
adult men do. I chose none of that. I chose to be with him when I wasn't on a business trip, like going to your church last year. If I'm not on a business trip,
Right.
I'm with him every weekend
That's beautiful, James.
because that
Ab-
was the bond. That was the right decision I ever made. I played golf
Absolutely.
only one time, a charity event, and it was on a Thursday night. That was
That's
12 years ago. So people say, do you play golf? I said, the answer is no. Why? Because I spend time with my autistic son on weekends. So we're either
That is
freedom,
beautiful.
right? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
That's what God wants from all of us, not only to educate our
Right.
children, to be with them,
Right.
an absentee parent, to spend
Right.
time with your children.
Right. And
There-
nothing takes the place of that.
Right? He even though he's nonverbal, he's super intelligent, but he feels things.
Yeah.
He senses things. So we have this silent communication between each other. A lot of it's frequency based,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
he depends on me being his father, and his
Right.
age has nothing to do with anything, right?
That's beautiful, James.
So the
Beautiful.
connection there has been very good for me.
Yeah.
So it's been a
So,
blessing in disguise, not necessarily for him. He's going through a lot of difficulty in
yeah.
life, but it's been a
Right.
blessing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you for that testimony. That's awesome. And speaking of frequencies and of course, everything is communicated through frequency.
Yep.
That's the essence of our being and how we communicate with others. But of course, everything that God does that's beautiful and good, the enemy tries to distort for evil. But just before we close, James, and if these last few minutes, let's talk about what actually literally is happening through 5 and 6G and how they're using frequencies to perpetrate evil. And I think it's not for you or I, but for some people, it's still kind of an odd thought to try to process that there are evil frequencies, but there clearly are, and with what
They're,
we
they're, they're,
call
they're healing frequencies, and then they're dissonance or bad frequencies.
exactly, exactly, and they impact us whether we believe in them or not. They just impact
They
every
totally.
cell of our body.
Why do you think the Rockefellers in the 1950s changed the God's harmonic for music 432 hertz to 440? Because
Yeah,
440 is off. It is not a healing frequency. Why do you think you got rid of most of the bell towers in the Western world? Because bell towers were frequencies not only good for you, but apparently, from what people are realizing, chase the demons away,
yeah,
takes the bad spirits out of town. So they
yeah.
have an actual purpose.
Oh yeah, everything has an actual purpose. We may not understand it, but everything has an actual purpose. So now, of course, years ago, Ray Kurzweil wrote his book on the coming singularity, and now we're there. And just for those that may be new to this, don't understand the concept, Ray Kurzweil was a futurist, in my opinion, and not a good man at all. He
No,
lacked the view.
he's an atheist at
Yeah,
best,
I was just gonna say
or a
he.
Luciferian at worst.
Yeah, yeah, that's my conviction. But anyway, um, the the idea is that there was coming a time where all sciences, meaning uh, mathematics and English and physics and everything and any system of knowledge, it would come to a point where there was a seamless unity between all knowledge, and that was referred to as the singularity. And Ray Kurzweil years ago said it would happen in 2025, and amazing how he foresaw that, and it was right. But the idea, of course, is that now instead of spirits, which there are disembodied spirits, there are good spirits, there are evil spirits. They all have unique frequencies, all of them, which is why you can locate them in an empty room with a spirit box because they're vibrating at a certain frequency.
Correct.
Dark frequencies, very low frequencies, high frequencies are the spirits of light. But the point is that now there is a way to broadcast those dark, evil, demonic frequencies right into your brain through 5G and 6G. And weeks ago, and you can look at it on Time to Roar if you look for the podcast where James Martinez was talking about it. Very interesting stuff. But now a human being is subject to demonic frequencies that can be sent to one or to many simultaneously.
And you wouldn't know it,
Exactly.
which is even worse. Like you're having you're having a bad night sleeping. You think it's the food, it's not the food. You think it's sleep apnea, is not. You're literally getting pinged at night by frequencies from somewhere. So
Exactly.
let me quickly for the audience. So the
Yeah.
5G towers that you see around cities in Western Europe, United States, they're not for your phone. People don't understand.
Right.
They're microwave weapons. And I'll give
Right.
you the best proof of this is Sheffield, England. So Sheffield, England, 2017 was a tree-lined, gorgeous town, right? Gorgeous small city. They
Mm.
had 36,000 trees. 36,000
Beautiful.
trees.
Wow.
And they cut half of them down. They cut down 18,000 trees. So you went from beautiful tree lined roads to neutered, and all you saw were brick row houses with no vegetation at all cut down. Now,
Ugly.
why? People think it was because when the trees grow leaves in summer, spring and summer, it's wet and they interfere with the communication. No, that's the low end of 5G. The 5G spectrum is anywhere from 15 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz. Over 60, it trebles oxygen. It literally splits oxygen in half.
Wow.
And over 60 gigahertz, you're then in the microwave danger. They no the foliage would interfere with a microwave weapon part, the high end part of 5G. So they had so the Cabal, the World Economic or whoever, the United Nations, they had deliberately cut down those trees to create a kill grid within what? Within the people of Sheffield, England.
Wow.
And what happened was they were expecting the vaccines to go out with no interference, and the vaccinated would have gotten hit, and you've seen a lot of people mass casualties, but that never happened for a lot of reasons. The vaccine's
Yeah.
strong for whatever reason. The military probably has something to do with it, and it's just an example. So the 6G is a much bigger step forward where now they can get inside the human body. They can connect to our cells, our molecules. I mean,
Right.
we into our circuitry.
Right.
And through frequency, they can control us. Not
Right.
100% yet, but within 3 years, they will if left unchecked, they will be able to take control over more than half the population of the world.
Yeah.
That's the danger.
Oh boy, it's a big danger. And of course, because they're devious, they're of their father, the devil, who's the father of lies. They will try to sell us on the idea of why carry around a cell phone when you can have a smart tattoo somewhere on your body. It will
Right.
interface you with the internet, and it will interface the internet with your brain waves so that you don't have to type in a message like Google, please find something. You can just think about it and tap into the internet. Now, many people probably listening to this broadcast think, oh, how cool is that? I'll tell you why it's not cool. Because if you can tap into them at will, they can tap into you at will. And all of a sudden, you're not fully human anymore. All of a
You're not
sudden,
fooling yourself anymore. They can erase your memories. They can
exactly.
plant new false memories. They can
New,
change complete life. Your thoughts can be completely erased, new thoughts be put in.
right, right. At any point, and you won't be able to even determine what was you, what was real, what wasn't, what you're thinking. Of course, you know from your studies, your association with James Martinez that clear back in the 50s and early 60s, they were, and again, how evil is this? But absolutely proven history. The CIA was experimenting with unwitting victims, and they were giving them full on nervous breakdowns,
Yep.
all kinds of stuff by manipulating their brain waves. Well, that course has been perfected from the 50s, late 50s, early 60s to now.
Yep.
And, you know, uh, um, what's it called? Something to skull technology.
Oh,
Uh,
the voice to skull
yeah,
technology.
yeah, right, exactly. And
They can put the
so,
voice of God in you, but it won't be God. It'll be Satan.
exactly, and many other things. But really, the simple truth is, at that point, the image and likeness of God and humanity has been bastardized and co-opted, and people are not people anymore. They may look like it, but that opens the uh, door to soul cocooning and an army of cyborgs and all kinds of
They want to get
funky
rid of the
things.
real us and replace us with a digital twin of us. Very
Right,
cool.
one that is completely controllable. So anyway, now in light of all that, years ago, James, we did hear a conference. I wish you could have been at it; it would have been fun. But it was called "Dark Secrets and Bright Hopes," and there are a lot of dark secrets. We've talked to them. We've talked about them
Yep.
and discussed them. But before we end this program, I want to remind you that the Bible thousands of years ago predicted these days because God sees the end from the beginning. God is not the slightest bit concerned about all of these nefarious projects of the wicked one. He's not concerned about them. He knew they were coming. He talks throughout the prophecy of Scripture about these days, and he reminds us that in the days of the Antichrist kingdom being established, which are the days that we're in right now, there's a huge fight between the global cabal, i.e., the Antichrist system, and really and America and Donald Trump. And we're not the only ones, but we are clear to the heart of that fight.
I call us the children of God.
There you go. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. The children of God and the children of darkness, right?
That's
And
exactly
so
what it is. That's the battle.
that's the battle. But James and I want you to know that he and I and our friends, we have gone way down the rabbit hole and have seen a lot of things that we weren't even able to talk to you about on this broadcast. But we go there with confidence because greater is he that's within us than the spirit of evil in the world. And in the days of the Antichrist kingdom, the Bible says the God of heaven will establish his kingdom. It will never pass away, it will never be left to another people. And those that know their God will be strong and do great exploits. And that word exploits is supernatural feats. And I think that's awesome because we are living in days that by any definition, they're becoming increasingly supernatural, and even to the point of interdimensional entities that will be interfacing with us on in public forums soon, and that shouldn't scare you if you are a true son or daughter of God. It should scare the bejeebers out of you if you don't have any connection to the Almighty in the days we're moving into, we all need a direct connect with the Almighty, our
Correct.
Creator and our God. And with that, we fear no evil. That's what David said. He said, I will fear no evil because the Lord is with me. And that's the confidence that we have. So I think the days ahead will be days of signs and wonders and miracles and amazing phenomena that God does for his kids because he loves us. And by the way, if you read the Bible honestly, the good guys don't just win, the good guys win big. And so that's our confidence.
Convincingly, and we end the 6,000-year reign of Satan.
Come on, brother. That's awesome, James.
Well, Pastor Dave Bryan, thank you very much for these conversations. It's been great to be on your show. Time to Warp. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, James, and we'll look forward to it again. Remember, wherever you're at, don't be passive. It's time to roar.
Very good. Take care, everyone. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, James.